Hey, Jose.
Hey Ryan.
So, all things considered, we've tried to do this Get a Taste of before. I just wanted to re-record it. I feel like I didn't do a very good job in regards to fully describing the extent of what this game has to offer. So, we're doing this again. Keep in mind, I haven't fully completed this game. I still intend upon it, but just still have not gotten to it. And of course, immediate... not technical difficulties at all. I've got this. We're all good, and I know what the problem is, and it wasn't that my controller wasn't plugged in, it's that I didn't click on the right window. Oh. Now we're good. Okay. So, Thumper is essentially a rhythm game. The soundtrack does not have anything in particular going on for it. I would say it's mostly just a lot of very mechanical, like drum beat like hits, and that's kind of what we're gonna be doing here. Gosh, I hope I don't lose my progress. I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't. But we're gonna start here at level 1. Give you guys a taste of the beginning of the game here. It takes quite a bit to focus on what's going on in this game, so if at any point I'm not talking a lot, I'm gonna blame Jose, as it's his job to fill in that void of emptiness.
Well, I do hope that I distract you. One of the questions that I kind of do have is like, since it does have like a lot going on for it, do they have like a essentially a VR option for this?
No.
Like a Beat Saber?
No. I don't really think it would add anything other than just obviously like what you kind of see here. It's a pretty like how would I put it? There's not a lot in regards to what's going on in the art, so it would really just be like, if you were to make a VR version of this, it would just be for the visual experience of it all and just kind of being engrossed in it, which, you know, VR is for to some degree or another. So that was essentially the first stage, having gotten an S rank. Essentially, you know, if you listen here to the music, which, let me turn that up, make sure everybody gets a very good listen on that, because it's pretty important what this game does sound like. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Let me double check here. I'm a genius.
Double down.
Yeah, I'm a genius. I should have made sure I was doing this earlier. Okay, let me turn that off. Let me monitor that. Okay, let's see how loud that is. Probably too loud now. Let's see. It's a little loud. Probably not too loud, but definitely a little loud. Okay. That'll work. But yeah, so now, as you can probably, or you probably heard before, a lot of the music doesn't really change from what you hear now, to where it's pretty much just a lot of very mechanical, what I would describe as like pots and pan-ish, like kind of beats, where it just sounds like someone's hitting a bunch of metal shit together. And pretty much all I'm doing, based on kind of what you see on the screen at the beginning, is I'm just tapping A whenever I'm doing just about anything. So you could say it's a single button game, and I missed that there, which was kind of amplified by that exclamation point, and when the screen kind of turned red. And so just having missed that, I got an A as opposed to an S. But I'm going to quit out of here already, because some of these earlier stages are pretty boring, and that's going to be pretty much what we're doing. Oh, sweet. I didn't lose my progress. Awesome. So let's like jump. I don't want to jump to 5 quite yet. Let's jump to 4. So each world or level or whatever you want to call it has added at least one new mechanic per world, which is kind of what I failed to realize during the original recording of this, and why I kind of wanted to re-record it, is that I like this game a lot, and I want to make sure that I am able to fully represent what this game has to offer. And so like now, as you can see, there's like lane switches, which is pretty much just me hitting me just hitting left or right to move into another lane. Let's see if I can S. Nope, got an A. That's okay though. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that because everybody S ranks everything. One thing I do like about this game is in regards to restarting is you can restart from checkpoint. You can just straight up restart the entire stage, and then we'll complete this second stage. And there's a third option in regards to restarting, which is pretty handy. And so pretty much my goal is, in most of these cases, is just to hit A on the glowing points on the ground, and that's really the gist of it. And the more that I can do that in a row without missing, is essentially going to build up an invisible combo meter, as you can see kind of pops in the upper right occasionally. And then there will be what they kind of refer to as like these boss stages, is what we're in now, where there's like kind of this big obstacle in the way, where you're trying to send these projectiles down the track to get that obstacle out of the way. And so that I just failed, and I'll show the restart from checkpoint thing that I was talking about. So you can restart from the current checkpoint, so as you can see there, that square that's currently flashing, or you can restart from the prior checkpoint, meaning if I got a rank on the last section of the stage that I didn't like, so say I got an A, I could just go into this and immediately hit previous, restart the checkpoint just prior. It will not let you go back to a checkpoint, say two ahead. It'll only let you go to the one that you just completed. Or I can just, having known that I just messed it up, I can just restart right here and move forward.
So as you've been going through the game, has it told you at all what you are? Is it just
Nope.
a beetle?
That's not even clear. This game has no story whatsoever. There's no thematic element that really teaches you anything about why you're doing what you're doing, other than you're a little silver beetle going through this track, and that's it. Like there's again, like these big boss obstacles that get in the way that kind of provide their own difficulties to your progression. And one thing I can say is, like, given this is a rhythm game, there are certain things that, like, so this is a different mechanic. What I'm doing there, let me pause to describe. So, like, when you see those little bars in the track that are in my way, and then I dash through those, I have to hold down the A button. So then I go into this charge state that allows me to charge through those. When you saw earlier those little rings that I, like, kind of flew up into, I have to essentially hit A on the glowing point on the ground just before that and press up so that I begin to fly. And then there was a point where, like, if I land on the next glowing point, which means I have to hit down specifically at that point to land on that, that's what creates some of those shock waves that sent out forward. If we see any more of those, I'll make sure to reference that. But, like, the longer the turn is, the longer you have to hold left or right. So, like, right now I'm just kind of tapping left or right, but for this one I'm holding, and I'm just tapping again. And so a lot of it really is just like, it's simple to understand. Like right here and right there I did the tap down. That's what made that shockwave that sent forward. And hold that.
Did they tell you what the shockwave does?
Nope, don't even tell you that. Don't even tell you that it, like, gives you any points or anything like that. It's just, I've learned it's to my benefit for my points level that it sends out, and it turned that little plinth there, that little blue spot on the ground, it made it a shiny one, and that shiny one is worth more points ultimately. And so as you can see, there's what they call perfect turns at the end of these sections. And so whenever you're hearing me do these turns against these little walls, when you hear that high-pitched, like, kind of ting noise, like that and that doesn't happen every time you hit a wall. So, like, if I just turn and I didn't hit it at just the right time, like right there on that last turn, that's not a perfect turn.
Yeah, the bring.
Do what?
The bring.
Yeah, it's like a bring. Yeah. So, like, those, that one was not perfect. That one was. And same idea, getting those perfect turns will get you more points. I think I messed up there. I don't know if I don't think I charged through those little things right. Ooh, yeah, so you definitely messed up there. And so that actually gives me a good example. So like if I take 2 hits, I did that on purpose by the way. If you take 2 hits, you fail out of that current level you're on. So now I'm just repeating for my current checkpoint.
I guess like when you get hit the first time, does it give you like a small invulnerability?
Very tiny amount of invulnerability, yeah. But like if you, well, I don't know if there's a lot of examples here in this stage where it'll like kill me really quick if I manage to miss one. That probably would have been a good point. And like if I, like right there, like where you see my beetle start to flash when I took that hit, that was the length of my invulnerability. So it essentially lasted up until the next turn. But it is possible, so like if you were to go, you know, can you still get like an S rank or something like that, even once you've missed, like say you've taken damage or you've missed one of the nodes on the ground, it is still possible to get an S rank. It really just depends on, because at the end of each stage you do get a bonus for essentially getting no misses, meaning you hit every single one of the nodes on the ground. You can miss, say like these floating ones. Those don't count. Those are just kind of extra points. They don't count towards like your misses or anything like that. But essentially you get 2 1,000 point bonuses at the end of the stage, which are pretty relevant. Not entirely necessary, but they're definitely very relevant to you getting your S rank. And you can, sorry, let me, you can heal mid-stage. There are ways to do that. We have not come across one yet, but they are possible. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna go back to, I'm kind of really disappointed that there's no like 3D aspect to this game.
What do you mean by
like
3D?
It's like you're in a tunnel and things are just coming at you the entire time, and like it would have been really cool or nice in some regard.
What's that?
For it to be, you know, in VR.
Oh. Yeah, unfortunately there's no like real camera control or anything like that. But I do agree with you that like I'm sure you're not aware, but like there's games like, it's like a game called Rez, where they made like a VR version of it, which was like a very kind of, I think that was kind of like a rhythm game too, actually, or at least it had good music from my understanding. But anyways, that's kind of like the most of what I can show from here. Let's quit out. And yeah, they made like a VR version of that as well. And so this I wasn't even aware of, but it turns out whenever you start a level, it'll just keep your progress on each of those individually, so that's kind of nice. Of course, there are leaderboards. I've not really paid attention to a lot of this because I don't understand how you get an A rank overall, but get 1,000,000 points, which is, you know, 400,000 more than the next 4 people. Don't know how that's possible. Same idea. You get a C rank and yet you have 1,000,000 points. I just don't believe that. And so the rest of these might be fairly legitimate, but it's pretty clear those first 3 to me, I'm like, I don't know about that. And maybe a lot of these are just not legitimate. But anywho, and then I've not really done anything with this plus. I want to say either it's just more difficult stages, or maybe it's just like a randomized set of the stages themselves, or maybe it's just more difficult.
I would have said that maybe it gives you like 3 hits.
In this?
Maybe it's a plus life.
No, I doubt that. Because this only unlocks once you, I think you, like, finish some stages.
Like your beetle's a different color.
It is a different color. It's gold. That's weird. I think it's harder, because, like, I'm not getting my perfect turns. There we go. Or maybe I just suck. Maybe I'm just too used to the other stages. Seems pretty samey this far. Yeah, I take it back about the perfect turn thing. I feel like I'm moving a lot slower, but I guess that's how the earlier stages would feel. I don't know what this is. It looks like...
S+.
Huh. Yeah, you're right. I've never gotten an S+ before. I'm not sure what that is. Interesting. And it didn't keep my progress. Weird. Okay. That may mean like you need to play through all of them in one go. Maybe if I died, that it just resets the entire thing. Maybe that's what that is. But yeah, that's the majority of the game. I think I can start from here just to give you kind of an idea as to like the difficulty kind of varies in most of these stages, and that are you fucking serious? I have to redo all of this now.
Doesn't let you start from recent. I mean, previous.
From the previous, yeah. Why it doesn't, I don't know. So I would have had to. Man, that sucks. But we'll just do this from here, anyways. Then I don't have to worry about getting my S ranks. So, immediately, it's moving quite a bit faster. They're throwing a lot of stuff at me. And they're essentially making me do all of the different mechanics over and over again. And it just...
I mean, you got a life.
I did. So, based on my understanding, you get your essentially your hit back whenever you hit one of those like extra shiny points on the ground. So, like if I can make one like that, then this should gain my health back, like it did. So yeah, I got a C on that too. But yeah, that's the majority of the game. They're kind of like what I mentioned, but we didn't really get to see here. There are some boss stages, but the boss stages really aren't different from the base game themselves. You're just pretty much, there's that obstacle on the way, and you essentially just have to make it through a level, say 3 or 4 separate times, and you have to do it perfectly. If you mess up, then it's going to automatically restart that section from the point that you messed up. And essentially once you've hit that boss 3 or 4 times or whatever, it explodes, and then you move on to the next part of the level, or it's the end of the level, or whatever the case may be.
So
but
is
it's
there only one boss per level?
No, there can be like 3. It can be like there's a mid boss. It can be like there's one at the very beginning, which is typically like a tutorial showing you like a mechanic of the game. So like how we saw whenever I did like level 1-1 or like level 1-3 or whatever it was, and that big triangle was in the way. That's like them. That's like the tutorial boss showing you essentially how to do something, and that's how most of these levels start. Is like within the first 1 to 3 levels, they give you a boss that kind of tutorializes a new concept. There'll be like a mid boss somewhere through, like midway through the amount of stages you see here, which will be pretty hard. And then there'll be the final boss pretty much at the very last stage. But man, that kind of chips me off that I have to do all of that again. But oh well, it'll force me to have to learn. But anyway, I take it that's most of your questions, correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, that is Thumper. I quite enjoy it. I would recommend to most people if you got, I don't know, 15 to 20 bucks. I think full price it's like 20 bucks. But if you like what you see here, give it a shot. Thanks, Jose.
No problem.